was not God's intention.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. No outliers, but it's skewed to the right, which means that we have the majority of our data down here, and then we got some high pieces of data. Sorry, my pen's dying on me. So, our mean, remember, it takes into account, it adds all the pieces together. So these high pieces of data, even if they're not outliers, they're going to pull the mean towards them. Where the median is the middle, so it's just these pieces are being counted, not actually added into the calculation. So when we're skewed right, the mean is going to be higher than the median. So if we're skewed left, which one would be higher, the mean or the median? Median. And if we're symmetric, what would we expect? They would be about the same. I'm going to use median, capital M, so skewed left, the median should be bigger than the mean. And if it's symmetric, we would expect them to be about the same. All right. Amber is going to come do number 2 for us. All right. Quiet down. So this one tells us that the scores on a stats test had a mean of 81, standard deviation of 9. One student was absent on test day, so his score was not included in the calculations. When he took the test, he got a score of 84. What's going to happen to our mean and our standard deviation? 84 is bigger than 81, so when we put 84 into the mix, it's going to make the mean increase, which means that it has to be A, B, or C. Without the score of 84, we had a standard deviation of 9. Standard deviation, remember, tells you how far away your observations are from the mean. 84 is only 3 away from 81. So when it gets put into the mix, figuring out standard deviation, since it's smaller than 9, it's going to cause our standard deviation to decrease. So B is correct. Thank you. And then Rocio is going to come do a 3 for us, I said. Thank you, ma'am. So 3 is A. We have a histogram. We have to figure out the box plot. Box plots do what to our data? Put it into equal quarters, right? So I could draw some lines. Let's go with this color. It is A. So, if I were to cut the histogram in half, that's going to be like here-ish, right? So my median should be between 5 and 6. A has a median between 5 and 6. So does B. So does C. D has a median down between 2 and 3, so it can't be that one. And then E has a median up at 8, so not that one. Then I should be able to take each half and cut it in half again to estimate Q1 and Q3. So if I were to stack these bars, let's see, there. So half of that data has got to be around here, which means it's the same over here. So our Q1 is around 2-ish. So A has Q1 around 2. B has Q1 up at 4, so it's not that. And then C has Q1 up around between 4 and 5, so not that one. And then if I check, I marked Q3 around 9, which is where that one is also. So A is the best box plot. So today is like my least favorite day.
Mine too, dude, same.
Oh, I just mean in this unit. I like C days. Because I have to talk a lot today. And, ugh, I hate talking.
Wait, so you just
Well,
sign
then-
language. Do sign language the whole time. Do we do anything, bro? Dude, I can tell you math.
Yes, we do stuff in class, Trey. I did say do. So what I'm going to do today is I'm taking old AP FRQ, and I'm going to teach you guys how to write a good FRQ answer. Because even though not all of you may take the AP exam, some of you may, and since it's an AP class, I have to make sure that I prepare anybody who's going to take it to be ready for it. So when I give tests, well, first of all, if you're going to take the AP exam, the AP Statistics exam is 50 multiple choice and 6 FRQs, free response questions. So when I make my tests for each unit in this class, I do 10 multiple choice, 3 to 5 short answer, and 1 or 2 FRQs. So even if you're not taking the AP exam, they are on my test, so you need to know how to do it. What do you want, Colton Morgan?
What does FRQ stand for?
I said it in the whole explanation.
What is it?
Free response question. All right, so we're going to look at an old FRQ. I don't remember what year this was on the AP exam. So some FRQs will have 1, 2, 3 parts. Some FRQs will have like 6 parts. So that's where I say I do 1 or 2 on my test, because if one of them has 7 parts, I am not going to throw another one on the test because that's a lot of math to do. But if an FRQ has 2 really simple parts, then I'm going to find another short FRQ. Well, not find, I make them up. But then I'll give you 2 if it's shorter and has a couple parts to it. If it's got a lot of parts, I only give you 1. Who wants to read? Like I said, I talk a lot today, so Colton, thanks.
As a part of the United States Department of Agriculture's super drug procurement efforts in the early 1990s, various sites in the country were targeted for cleanup. 3 of the targeted sites, River X, River Y, and River Z, had become contaminated with pesticides because they were located near abandoned pesticide dump sites. Measurements of the concentration of algin, a commonly used pesticide, were taken at 20 randomly selected locations in each river near the dump sites. The box plot shown below displays the 5 number summaries for the concentration in parts per million of algin for the 20 locations that were censored using the previous.
Thank you. All right, so we have our box plots. X is on top, Y, Z. First question for this FRQ is to compare the distribution, so the concentration of alderin among the 3 rivers. then it does continue down here. B gives you the 20 concentrations per river X. We're going to make a stem plot there. And then part C, we're going to describe a characteristic of the distribution for the concentrations in river X that are seen in the stem plot, but not the box plot. So, compare the distributions. First of all, before we get into that, if we were looking at a single distribution, not three, the instructions would say describe the distribution. And anytime you see those three words, an acronym should jump into your head. And what's that acronym? SOX. I'm going to abbreviate distribution. By the way, describe the distribution will show up in problems here through forever. So in the spring, when we're in chapter 10 and you get a question that says describe the distribution, it still means SOX. Okay? What does SOX, what does it mean?
Shape. Outlier.
Center. Spread.
Yep.
Shape. Outlier. Center. Spread. So this question has us looking at three distributions. So when it tells us to compare, we're going to have to write some sentences. Ugh, hate sentences. How many sentences do you think I should have?
3.
Why 3? That's what they said yesterday too. So.
Because there's three different observations.
So 3 rivers we're looking at? Okay. Anybody say something different? I like your thought, and I suppose you could do it this way, Megan. Do the 3 and have a sentence for each one. I encourage kids to do 4 sentences.
Why?
A sentence on shape, a sentence on outliers, a sentence on center, and a sentence on spread. That way I make sure I hit all the important things. So that's how I do it. But you'll hear me. I mean, I've already said it a zillion times. I'm not great with words. You might say it better in 3 sentences than I can in 4. So, but I'm going to do 4, 1 for each of the SOX. So before I can compare them, I actually have to figure out SOX for each of them. So I'm going to do that off to the side here. So I'm going to kind of make some lines. So
4 required.
no. Like I just told Megan, she could probably say it better in 3 sentences than me. But if this were a test question, I'm going to look for you to compare shape, outlier, center, and spread. Which is why I say 4. 4 sentences.
Hey, don't say that. Gosh.
I have to whisper this because I am recording.
She said.
Alright, so we're going to identify the shape for river X first. I'm just going to go down. So, symmetric, skewed. What do you guys think for the shape?
Yeah.
Skewed right.
Skewed right.
For sure. Yeah, skewed right.
If we look at the halves of the boxes, the left half of the box much smaller than the right half of the box. So it's got a slight skew to the right. What about outliers?
Slight skew. I don't know. I'm thinking there are none. Not.
Why none?
There might be one on the right side.
What? No?
Because the lines extend all the way out.
Because our lines go all the way. There's no dots. Box plots, if there's outliers, are going to be dots. There are no dots, so we have no outliers. What's up, man?
So since I'm not in your class, I'm not in your campus, so I can't do any of the notes to do your homework and stuff.
Write down your email and I'll just email you all the links for the videos. All right, what about the center? What's the center of river X? Really? Nobody's gonna tell me the median? The median shows up in a box plot. So if I know I'm cheating because I got a ruler, but if I, thank you, were to drop that line down, it's about what? 5 point what would you say? 5.1, 5.2? I never knew that box plots were so funny. All right, and then since we used the median for our measure of center, what should we use for our measure of spread? Oh, I just told you guys this yesterday. What? No, standard deviation goes with the mean. What goes with the median? IQR. Thank you, Amber. All right, so Q3 is, that looks like 7.5-ish. Q1, 4.7-ish. You guys okay with those estimations? So let's go with 7.5 minus 4.7-ish. That is a 4. It's a really bad 4. That'd be what, 2.8?
7.58.7.
Questions on River X? Yeah, 2.8-ish. All right, now we're going to do socks for Y. What would you say the shape of this box plot is?
Skewed left.
Y skewed left.
Of Y?
Yeah, of Y.
Skewed right.
It's symmetric.
Okay, it doesn't have to be perfectly exactly skewed right.
The box. What did you say, Megan? The box?
The box itself.
I mean, that side's, yeah, they're pretty equal. And if we were to look at that half, it's about the same size as that half, so it's approximately symmetric. Outliers, do we have any?
Left. Low.
No, we don't have any dots.
I don't understand. Outside of the whiskers.
It's a box plot. If we had outliers, we'd have dots. Center. Ladies.
Exactly 5. S.
Oh, that is not a straight line.
It's skewed equal.
What's our center? 5? Everybody good with 5 for the center?
Thanks, Davis. There are no outliers because there's no dot.
All right. Then IQR on this one, like 6.1 minus 4.1, so 2. Alright, and then socks for Z. So what's the shape of river Z? Skewed left. Thank you, Caleb.
Skewed left.
What about outliers for river Z?
None. Nada.
Good, none.
0. 7.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yes.
What does it mean?
0.
Sound about 4.2? No. Yes, but I didn't say that, by the way.
What would you guys say for the center? 4.2 or 4.3?
I said 4.2.
Okay. Is that what you said too, Mason?
It is.
Good.
It's your review over half, so you can't be mad.
All right, and then spread. Our Q3 would be what? Like
4.6? 4.5?
What?
My mom would be thick. Change my answer.
Yeah, I mean, I got to
I
that
said
actual
4.5.
question.
I would say 4.6. What would you say, Aster? 4.5. What would you say that is? 3.5? 3.6. Okay. It's just under 1. All right. Any questions about any of the socks? Before I get into my 4 sentences that Megan will condense to 3. Yes, Amber.
I just was looking at the last IQR, 4.5 minus.
I forgot my decimal, huh? Thank you. All right. Now, like I said, I'm going to do 4 sentences, 1 for each of the important parts. If you can make it prettier than me, please do. Okay, just make sure you hit shape, outlier, center, and spread, because those are the things I'll look for. And I am not very good with words. There is a reason I'm not an English teacher. I do know how to spell pretty well. Thank you, though. All right, so for shape, I'm going to say something like Y is symmetric, whereas X and Z are skewed right and left respectively. See, I know how to use big words.
Good job.
Thank you.
Respectively?
Yes. I love that word. It's one of the few like English things that I love.
Why?
And I should use safety words. So River Y has, I almost forgot my safety word, so that's why my AN is really close to approximate. So River Y has an approximately symmetric distribution, whereas rivers X and Z are skewed, right and left respectively. I had bad spacing, I'm sorry. I abbreviated approximately.
Has
And?
Done.
X and Z.
Outliers, that one's nice and simple. Short sentence. None of them have outliers.
It's not any easier. She might even get easier.
So all distributions are free of outliers. For our center, outliers, done. I love checklists. They're my favorite. Center, so X is 5.15, then 4.2. So I'll probably just go from highest to lowest. So River X has the highest median. At 5.1. Then Y with a median equal to 5, and Z with a median equal to 4.2. And my handwriting's too big. Gotta make that last sentence fit. So center, done. And then spread, let's see, we got 2.82 and 0.9. So how about just for the fun of it, instead of going biggest, smallest, we'll go smallest, biggest.
Hold on. Oh, no.
So River Z has the smallest IQR. Of 0.9. Y has an IQR equaled, well, approximately equal of 2, and X has an IQR approximately equal to 2.8. And I realized when I made those equals, that means my median, I should have used this wiggle equals. I apologize.
Okay.
Thank you. Spread, done. 4 sentences, done.
How long is this thing?
Very.
10 multiple choice.
Oh, it's only 10? I thought you said
3 to 5 short answer. That's the AP exam. And then depending on the length and difficulty of the parts of the FRQ, I'll either have 1 or 2.
Are you going to give us 2 ICD tests this year?
No. All right, part B, you guys know how to do. Here's the data for River X. Put it into a stem plot for me, please.
Yeah, what's so funny, huh? What's so funny, huh?
That was too fun. That was too fun.
Really?
Wait, why are these?
Okay, at least
Oh,
take a
we
picture.
just done two different.
So you got something to bring
No.
over.
I'm doing so calculated.
I hate these things.
I would make the ones place.
Wait, what do we need to go through? All the way up to
Key, 3, lines, followed by 4.
5, 7. Yeah, why'd you start at 3, huh? You're supposed to start 1. Is there any ones?
That's why the key is so important.
Like halfway done with one, and I'm just
Stem plot, Mackenzie.
What's up?
Take a look.
It's a stem plot. Simple.
It's a magnet. We never touch it.
Not one like this, just a big one.
It's different.
It's more like trying to emphasize.
Those two.
Guys,
Do I look too
Well, I have all back to back on.
Well, today's the C day, so Monday.
And there's a lot forward, boy. It's, forward hook.
I already picked on you guys. Can't pick on you again. Will you put it on record in a minute, please?
That's so sad.
668.
Do your stem plot, Wyatt.
This is the worst thing that's happened to you on. This is the worst thing to happen.
Alright, Aster is gonna put
One
the
struggle
stem
you've
plot
overcome.
up for us.
God, writing that essay was not fun.
I have never actually met Lewis, but I have Colson in class.
I'm almost convinced Lewis to come into this class to say hi to Maggie once, but then Maggie wasn't here, so. Very sad.
Want a cookie?
Could've met
That was a
Lewis.
great story, bro.
What? Come on, say you want a cookie?
Sorry, I didn't know about this.
That was funny.
You laugh.
But then that's
You don't work with me. I'll do whatever. As long as you don't eat me.
Yeah, your sixes should be.
I'm just one, and I was like, it's just kids.
Okay.
It's just character in one of those. Did you ever see the longest yard? Great movie.
I didn't even understand the words that came out of my mouth. They like mumbled.
Don't eat me. That's not, I know you.
I know, right? Alright. Biggest thing about a stem plot. Key. And walking around, all of you put your leaves in order, which made me happy. Last class, well, my other AP class, I had to remind them to put their leaves in order.
Last class, they're the dumbest motherfuckers. You're so smart.
Alright, so the other thing that I want to talk about, Mason, I had yesterday a student who created the stem plot with split stems. Now, if you gave me this, I would give you full credit because it doesn't specify split stems. But I want you guys to see the split stems and be able to compare this one with the split stem one. Now, I'm not going to put 0, 1, and 2 because I'm going to list 3 twice and 4 twice. So I'm going to skip a few of those numbers. I'm making the same stem plot but with split stems so you can compare them. Because I'm going to point something out. No, just watching is good.
masters this book. Like, that means he did it. Not only did he plagiarize, but he did it bad.
All right. So, non-split stems, like I said, perfectly acceptable because it doesn't specify anything. Aster gave us a key. Leaves are in order. It's beautiful. Split stems. The reason why I wanted to show you the split stems is because if I hadn't given you a box plot and I asked you to describe shape, you turn them sideways and it's a little hard to see the skewness. I mean, you can kind of tell there's a little skewness there. But when we split the stems, it becomes much more obvious that we have skewness to the right. Not as easy to see shape there. So there is a benefit to split stems. However, we were given the box plot to begin with, and it didn't specify. So if you made a stem plot just like Aster, that's perfect. Okay? If it specifies split stems, then this is what you would do. Now, what can we see? We're looking at River X, which is this top box plot. So what can we see in the stem plot that is not obvious in the box plot? Brooke, you seem to want to talk a lot. So tell me what's the difference between the stem plot and the box plot?
One is more skewed to the right.
Well, that's why split stems is cool. I already mentioned that.
Girl.
I think Colton should answer because he also has a lot to say.
Yeah, but I've already picked on him today, so I'm calling on you now.
I was so sad.
There's a gap at 6.
There is a gap at 6, Dia. Thank you.
Yes, Tia.
We can see this gap of no data. In a box plot, it looks like there's data all the way from the median to Q3. But we're missing data from 5.6 to 7.3. That's a pretty big gap. So the stem plot allows us to see that.
But to sit up.
All right, questions.
How?
I'm sure you can say it better than me. I will say that's the one thing my English teachers always told me was I was too wordy. Which
How is it?
that's what I thought.
English
How's that a bad
class.
thing in English? Like, but they always said that I needed to be more concise. My English, I had one good English teacher.
Is this
I don't.
So,
this
I've
not
had a
obvious?
few. Science teachers are the only teachers who are like
thanks, Trey.
religiously.
Come on. You knew it was this is not obvious from the box plot.
Miss Thomas is good. She's
All right. You guys,
chemistry.
we have like 15 minutes, a little less. I want you guys to try working on this. Tonight, your homework is a worksheet because I like using old AP FRQs for practice rather than the ones in the book. The ones in the book are kind of wimpy, if I'm being honest. So, work on this right now, please. And in a little bit, I'll hand out your homework.
Because Mr. Amaza,
What's up, Will?